I'm Jay, and this is NFC North Weekly. And back again, our friend from across the pond, Maddie Waters. And Maddie, just in case nobody has watched the other videos and this is their first time, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and the Travel Story or the Travel Story Society?
Yeah, so the Travel Story Society is a blog, website, and a podcast where you can go and share your travel stories. So you can get in contact with us, tell us your favorite travel stories, and then write a blog about them, and we'll put them on the website. It's also a podcast where we invite people as guests to chat about their favorite travel stories, where we ask them some questions and we just vibe and chat about people's travel stories. So if you want to look at that, it's www.travelstorysociety.com. That's what I've been doing all day. I've been sat in my chair, so I'm standing up for this podcast today to just get some movement going.
Yeah, no worries. I saw some of the stuff on your website and it was pretty cool. I started to read one of the stories, but then we were going to do this, so I'm going to go back and finish them. But yeah, some pretty neat stuff. Man. And to see how other people experience things is always really cool.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, to be perfectly honest. Just getting as many people on to tell their stories, because we're in lockdown here in the UK and we miss just talking to people in general. So it's nice to get people on just to chat with them. Yeah, but most importantly, I've got 100% picking in the NFL postseason so far. That's the most important thing.
I was going to be like the old Saints fans and come on the podcast with a bag over my head since I'm getting outpicked by a guy from the UK. Hey, who won the cricket match?
England won the cricket in the end.
All right.
Yeah. On the fifth day, lively wicket, but obviously I'm talking a different language to what most people understand.
Yeah, but I figured we talked about it. You might as well let everybody know who won in case somebody's like me and they oddly care.
Yeah, well, after the last game, the cricket started because it's over in Sri Lanka, so I stayed up, watched the hour of that for England to win that as well. Because obviously it goes over 5 days, so on the fifth day it only lasted an hour because we won after that. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to read how that works. But
yeah,
to some American football. So what'd you think? And I'm gonna start here with the Browns Chiefs game.
I think we've got to start with the Browns Chiefs game because that was the matchup that I think we were both looking forward to the most, kind of. Like I was looking forward to it the most. Yeah, and hey, the Browns should have won it. For me, I'm not going to give them an easy ride on this one. I'm coming out and I've listened to a lot of what people have been saying, a lot of talk shows and stuff like that, and they've been saying, "Oh, the Browns did so well to be close. They should be so proud of themselves, but they should have won that game as soon as Mahomes went out injured." Mahomes went with 8 minutes left in the third quarter. The Chiefs couldn't stop the run, which is the Browns' entire offense. Baker was having a great game, but then went missing as soon as Mahomes went down. And for me, it kind of shows the Browns' losing mentality, that they were just happy with it being close. I thought they should have won it, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I do agree with what you're saying. They should have wanted the whole thing. I do think it was a very positive season for the Browns. And I think Browns fans and even the team have a lot to be proud of. And I think they're going to be something for years to come. Kevin Stefanski, and everybody wants to shit on Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield played well.
I think he had a great game. Yeah.
He had the one interception, but okay. For me, and I hate to put it on one guy because it's a team sport, and I don't believe one play wins or loses you the game, except Higgins fumbling out the back of the end zone. And I know people hate that rule, but the rule's the rule. Also, I don't think it was his name, Sorensen. I don't think that was an illegal hit. I just think he came in fast and hard, and they both happened to drop at the same time. I think we led with his shoulder. I know Browns fans were mad and they wanted a penalty. I would have been okay with a penalty, but I was okay with no penalty also.
Yeah, so watching it live, I wasn't like, oh yeah, that's a definite penalty. But then as soon as I saw the replay, I was like, oh, that's helmet to helmet. Refs probably could have given it. And knowing how unfair that rule is, where if it fumbles out the back, the Chiefs get the ball, they probably could have found a way to overturn their call and make the game. But obviously the refs aren't allowed to do that.
Right. Yeah, they can't they can't overturn a helmet to helmet, which is, I got a huge problem with the replay system. Big thing for me is I don't know why you get 2 challenges, and then if you get them right, you get it third. I'm a true believer you should get 2 wrong challenges because it's not my fault as a coach if these guys can't do their job right.
Yeah, definitely. I think
I think everything should be challengeable. Everything.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would have replays and only some of it challengeable, some of it not challengeable. Like I don't really get that. Like we do, there's been instant replays in cricket where you can appeal for everything, and if you get it right, you get your challenge back, and you don't run out of challenges if you keep on getting them right. So, and then in soccer, as you guys call it now, they've just moved on to replays as well, and they're a bit slow with that, but it just makes the game better if you're able to have more fair decisions all the time.
I think the NFL is worried about time on TV. I also think they think fans won't watch a 3.5, 4 hour game, which I think they underestimate the fandom of people. But I'm more of a believer. Let's just get it right. So there's no, hurt feelings or whatever. I mean, they screwed it up last year with the pass interference replay. But if you look, it's because there was an egregious play in the playoffs where the Rams got away with a clear pass interference and went to the Super Bowl. So they overcorrected, but I think there's got to be a better way to do replay. But I like replay. I do not want to get rid of it like some people.
Yeah.
Because there's some calls that you're like, how the ref missed that? Or you just got to watch it in instant replay to see if he dragged that toe or whatever it may be. So,
yeah. I did like American football is one of the hardest games to referees, and these guys aren't professional referees. They have day jobs as well. Then if you want them to get every decision right, then you need to be prepared to pay them to be professional referees. It's one of the hardest games to referee because there's so much stuff going on. I personally don't think Higgins fumbling it out of the end zone would have actually made that much of a difference, because I think Mahomes would have just came out, shot it out anyway. But at the same time, what Stefanski said after the game shows that he's trying to turn around that losing mentality of the Browns that we were just talking about. So he's came out and said, we do not reach. I don't care. Like Higgins, I don't care about the Sorensen thing. Higgins, we teach you not to reach, do not reach. And that shows why Stefanski's coach of the year. I know I was ripping on the Browns to start the segment, but I just feel like they should have won the game, and they shouldn't be happy with losing a game, even if it was close to the number one team. But they're definitely heading in the right direction. And next season, hopefully they'll be happy. They won't be happy with any losses.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from the Chiefs because they won that game. Where there's games where you watch and they're like, oh, the other team lost it. Yeah. I do think the Browns had every chance to win, but I do not think they lost the game. I think the Chiefs beat them because that was huge balls by Andy Reid with Chad Henne in the game on a 4th down to throw it.
Yeah, it sums up Andy Reid. You text me saying that is a ballsy call, but that sums up Andy Reid running the offense, doesn't it? And I think if Mahomes doesn't get hurt, they win that game. And you've got to think he got what were they calling it on commentary? They were calling it turf toe. He got turf toe within the first quarter, and he was still
it's a broken toe.
He was still dominating the game as well. Like if he didn't get hurt, that game could have got really ugly.
I see Andy Reid doing that 4th down play with Mahomes in the game, right?
Yeah.
But to have the balls to do it with a Chad Henne who's been on the bench, you know what I mean? That was big, and that's why you pay your backup quarterback, right? It's not to win a whole season for you. It's if he's got to come in and spot duty or, say, 4 games, you want him to win you at least 2.
Yeah, ballsy call. Well played to Chad Henne for coming out. I think more impressive than that 4th and 1 conversion is the getting 2 4th and 1 from, 3rd and 11, his run, and being ballsy enough to dive for that flag as well. Fair play to the man.
I don't think he made that. I wish they would have challenged that because the way his forearm hit, I don't think the ball made the 1st down, and I was screaming at the TV. Yeah. And then my only argument, and I love Stefanski, is at that point in the game, it's worth the timeout to risk for that challenge.
Yeah, whereas the challenge that he made on the Tyreek Hill catch was not worth the timeout. If they had that timeout, they could have kept on running the ball at Kansas City when they were down and actually had the ball, and all they had to do was keep on running it. But they used the timeout they wasted the challenge, and then they missed the challenge on the one before. there must be a better way to get challenges out in the NFL as well. Like you've seen it with a few coaches this year, like just messing up on quite a few challenges. Mick McCarthy for the Cowboys springs to mind, but
I think it has a lot to do with your replay people upstairs giving you the right information quick enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I just wish he'd have challenged that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that could have been huge, but who knows? Do they go for it on 4th down? Do they stop them? However, you don't know how it goes, but I was cringing and yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
That
Stefanski's still coach of the year. Stefanski's still coach of the year for me. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, Packers, Rams. And I was down there. Rams. I don't know if you saw it. I went live from Lambeau Field before the game. I was down there.
Yeah, I saw it.
For any Packer fans that still like me right now, I will be down there for the NFC Championship game. If you see me and you want, just give me a chant, go Pack, go. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It should be wild. There should be fans again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to head down there and see all the festivities and be at Lambeau Field for the NFC Championship game.
I would love to do that, man. But I see the weather and I'm like, oh, in Britain, we think we've got it cold. But I'd have to wrap up in a few more coats, I think, to be able to deal with that kind of weather, to be perfectly honest. And that's why Rodgers wants home games at Lambeau Fields, isn't it?
Yes.
For the conditions, yeah.
We'll get into that later on, but I got some things to say about that too.
On. Yeah.
For me,
I'd quite like
it just went exactly like I thought it was, and the game was exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah, I think it's as much. This is an NFC North podcast, so I was looking for ways to analyze the Packers a bit more because we know that's what people will want to see. But for me, they won the game that they should have won. There's not much more to say about that. I think what I've got written in my notes here is they looked efficient, they looked imperious, and they looked like they were going to win that game from the get-go. Fantastic against a number one defense, still being able to throw it. And well done to Adams for not letting Ramsey bully him like Ramsey bullied DK Metcalf the week before. They never were really able to. They were able to run the ball. Was impressive.
That was big for me.
Yeah, that's an impressive.
I even said that during the game on Facebook that it was really impressive that the Packers were running the ball against a really good defense.
Yeah,
and
that was the most impressive part.
AJ Dillon maybe found a niche.
Yeah, you see, AJ Dillon's now on injury report, isn't he? Because he pulled his quad. So I think that's going to be a big miss.
Players missed the NFC Championship game.
No,
it's kind of like I texted you and said during the Chiefs game when you were like, Mahomes might be out, and I said, no way the NFL lets him miss the AFC Championship game. And maybe I'm an asshole for saying it, but I truly believe he clears that concussion protocol by Thursday. Also, they even came out right away after and said, oh, it's not a concussion, it's a nerve in the neck.
They made sure that they covered it.
Of that.
Yeah, I think AJ Dillon ran the ball really hard. I think he's found a way to he's a bit different to Adams, and he just Jones, and he just runs the ball right at him, right down the throat. And yeah, well played. I think Aaron Donald being injured played into their hands a bit more. I would like to have seen them go against Aaron Donald because I was watching him from the start and he was getting pushed back off the line the whole time. And that's something that you don't see from Donald, but obviously he was injured and that helps them run the ball because then their interior line isn't as strong.
No, I agree. I do think, though, an 80% Aaron Donald is probably better than most guys at 100%, but he still wasn't the Aaron Donald we're used to saying. But seems like you saw the game the same way I did. It was what we expected it to be.
Yeah, I think I've got a few little issues with the Packers' performance, though. Like, they weren't able to really stop the run too much. Like, the Packers, Akers still nearly ran for 100 yards and he looked good, but that was all that they had to stop. And at points, I was kind of like, Goff looks kind of good. Like, Goff looks like he's able to throw the ball on this defense a little, but he only threw for 148 yards, so it's not really.
Also, though, not having Cooper Kupp hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? If Goff can't throw the ball because he has no one to throw it to, he's open because Cooper Kupp isn't there. the Rams need the Rams are pretty much set everywhere. They just need to either revamp Jared Goff or trade Jared Goff. And I was playing a little game with myself and trying to think of who could trade for Jared Goff. And I thought maybe the Bears would take a punt on Goff and Trubisky would go the other way. Maybe franchise tag Trubisky and then trade. I don't know.
This is a great time for rumors because I was just reading today
love rumors, man.
How Kirk Cousins is going to 3 different teams.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I haven't seen any rumors on that. I was just thinking about it and I was kind of like, oh, Trubisky with McVay's offense suits the bootlegs, mobile quarterback, you know? Maybe you might be able to find a way to LA, but I don't know. I was just playing a little game with myself, to be perfectly honest.
It's idiots like Mike Florio starting all this stuff already.
Yeah. I mean, I do love watching Mike Florio just to get the scoop on what sort of things aren't true. So then you can play little games with yourself.
Chris Sims is what makes him tolerable.
Yeah, definitely. Chris Sims is a really good pundit. I think if McVay manages to revamp Goff and make him find confidence in himself, then the Rams will be back next year. But, you know, does McVay like Goff anymore? Is Goff finished in the NFL? I don't think he's finished. I just think maybe a fresh start in LA might be good for both parties.
Yeah, even if they're done with him in LA, he's a second overall pick or first overall pick. First overall pick, somebody's going to give him another chance.
Yeah, and definitely. I think
coaches have the biggest egos in the world. They look at guys and they're like, no, I can fix that.
Yeah, and he's been to a Super Bowl, so there'll be somebody for him to go to.
Not that it'll probably happen, but what do you think happens if Belichick got his hands on him? You know what I mean? Because they scheme that offense to do what's best for the quarterback. But not only that, where I see Belichick a little different, not to get too off topic, but he game plans against your weakness where some other teams just line up and say, we're going to do what we do.
Yeah, I think Goff with Belichick could be interesting. I think there's so many quarterback options out there that it's going to be that LA are going to take one, and then Goff might be left for a year as a backup somewhere, and then I don't know. There's so many people apparently going to New England this season that I don't think Goff's going to manage to find his way there as well.
Well, let me eat some crow, and let's move on to the Bills-Ravens. But I will start by saying I never expected Justin Tucker to miss 2 kicks. Tuck just doesn't miss. He just doesn't do it, right? Yeah. So I never expected that, but that hurt bad. And the nail in the coffin was the 101-yard pick six by, Lamar threw that. And I just cringed because I saw it happening and then he was gone. And it's like, that's not only a 14-point swing because you lose the 7 you could have had and you give up 7. And then you figure that's another 6 points with field goals. In a weird way, that's a 20-point loss by 3 bad plays or 20-point swing.
I think it kind of panned out the way that we thought it would, just not the events that we thought would happen. We kind of said in the last podcast, if the Bills find a way to stop the Ravens' run, the Bills win this game. Like that's all they've got to do. They've got to stop the run, trust Josh Allen's arm, and then they win this game. And they stopped the run. They did well. Lamar's escapability looked amazing, but he was never able to quite break the pocket and get to the perimeter. They managed to keep him in, and I think the Bills playing the run as well as that is a good sign for them. I think they showed up when they needed to. For me, I think that 101-yard return, I messaged you and said that's just Lamar being Lamar, and I think he proved his arm isn't as good as it needs to be if he can't run the ball. And he's perfect for the Ravens offense, but if somebody can stop the run, then he's going to improve his arm more over the offseason, and he'll come back and be able to throw the ball again.
I don't know what you think, but it seems to me that the big stage gets to Lamar a little bit.
Yeah.
And that could just be being young and getting used to it. I'm not saying he's going to have that problem forever. But right now, it seems like the big stage, maybe he thinks too much, doesn't just play, whatever. But the bigger the stage, the more mistakes he seems to make.
Yeah, well, I think that's a narrative coming up against them, isn't it? It was before he won the game last week. It was like, oh, Lamar can't win a playoff game. He has to win this playoff game. And then now he seems to just unravel in the big game. And it's kind of a worrying sign for John Harbaugh, I think. I think if John Harbaugh had Kyler Murray, they win that game. Like, I think Kyler Murray's just a better version of Lamar for me. I think I just think Lamar needs to get into his head to look after the football at all times. Don't be frustrated when you can't run and just fling it into spaces that aren't open. Your job is to look after the football. And when you see a gap, take the gap, go straight for it.
Yeah, and after that bad snap, even though Lamar got hurt, that game was over. It was over. Even though with Lamar playing, they're not coming back and winning that game.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of watching him though and thinking there's quite a few MVP high IQ plays going on there. So there was one where he looked like he was going to get sacked and managed to throw it away, and like that was an impressive. And then there was that bad snap where he managed to rush back and throw it out. And if you watched last week, Ben Roethlisberger just leaves it and it's a touchdown for the other team. Well, Lamar had the nous to pick up, throw it, even though he hurt himself during the throw.
Yeah, and as great as Lamar's legs are for them, they're a hindrance sometimes too, because if you watch, what did he lose? 19 yards on that one sack or whatever? Because he's scrambling to get away, and it's like, dude, just get rid of the freaking ball.
Yeah, stop holding the ball for so long. We know you can run the ball. You're fine. Just
quit scrambling back there. He ran back like 10 more yards before he got sacked, and it's like, that's one thing about guys like Brady and Rodgers, even though Rodgers can move, they don't run back. Like, they're just like, I'm going to take this sack, this 5-yard loss, and move on, not compound.
Yeah, or at least get back to Lamar will get back to the line of scrimmage if he just steps up sometimes, because he's a big guy. He can run through people. So, you're not really losing anything. I thought Allen played really well, but Josh Allen had a good game.
Matter what happens with the Bills, they're coming for years, whereas the Ravens are still good, but they seem like they're stuck in this one little spot right now, where I see the Browns, even if they go to the Super Bowl or not, just getting better.
Bills, I think
that's
they're
what I
going to
meant,
be
the Bills.
Yeah, if Josh Allen's just going to grow. I think when I was watching it and they were throwing a few of those bombs really early on, I was like, just like you're going for too much straight away. Just you're good enough just to fire it in holes. But maybe it was to stretch the defense, but they just had a lot of incompletions going too far down the field, I think. So just throwing it up to Diggs in triple coverage. So maybe don't do that as much and you have an even more efficient offense, I think. But I think Josh Allen, I think he had a really good game.
Yeah, no, I think it was a really fun game to watch too, even though I know people said it was boring because we text each other and said nobody thought the score would be like this at halftime.
Yeah.
But I just thought the way it was a chess match back and forth that I thought was really cool, and I enjoy that kind of football.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what was impressive for me was when we're talking about Lamar unraveling, we saw the absolute opposite with Josh Allen, where it was in the big moments of the game where he had to make the play. He made the play, and he had the whole offense on his shoulders there. They run the ball twice in the first quarter. So, like the whole offense was on his shoulders. I love a kind of chess match kind of football game. I like the defense that we've seen so far over the course of the postseason so far.
Well, that was the pretty cool thing about the game is like you were taking the Bills going, they have to throw it. I was taking the Ravens going, they have to run it. And that's exactly what both teams did. And then it was just who was going to outdo who. And like I said, it's another game where I think the Ravens shot themselves in the foot, but I still think the Bills won it more than the Ravens lost it. Because even with the missed kicks and the interception, they were still in the game. So to me, that says the Bills came out and said, we're winning this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So, I feel like the Bills had it. I
don't feel like they backed into a win at all, and sometimes you do.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. They're out of the AFC, I think they played the most impressive game this so far this postseason. Apart from the Browns beating the Steelers, but in this round.
Right. And actually, I don't know. I think they might have played more impressive than the Browns beating the Steelers, because I almost feel like for years to come, we're going to start seeing, wow, the Steelers are the Steelers.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that was an impressive win by the Bills, though.
So, on to the farewell game. We watched two of the greatest quarterbacks in my lifetime, probably ever in the history, play against each other. It looks like Drew Brees is retiring, even though his arm retired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was exactly what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
We look good, man, after this week. Not going to lie. We've done pretty well. We said if the Saints defense can't get to Tom Brady will win this game. And it was kind of like they learned from their mistakes of the two regular season games. And I think that's what happened. I want to give everybody's giving massive plaudits to the Tampa Bay defense, which they should. They played really well. But I just want to give a quick shout out to the Tampa Bay offensive line, and great work from Worst and Jensen, man. He was going for that one guy. Every time somebody lined up against him, he was on him. And I thought there was going to be fights breaking out the whole time. There was a bit of a scuffle on the sideline. And Jensen just looked like he was going to kill somebody the entire game. It was impressive. Well done to the Tampa Bay offensive line. Smashed it.
Yeah, that offense is great. But I want to give a shout out. It's funny you did, to somebody on the defense for Tampa Bay. With his tough fuck you attitude, even though I don't think it was disrespectful, even though some people did, but they were mad at Antoine Winfield.
Yeah.
And Antoine Winfield may have saved that game, honestly. But Antoine Winfield, after the game, when they were talking about it being disrespectful, he was like, no, that's for my dad. 2009,
yeah,
that's
man.
for my dad in Minnesota.
Yeah, man. Fair enough. Yeah.
I was like, dude, I just get hyped when I don't feel like you're being classless, because I don't like classless, right? But when it's pure raw energy and you're saying, we always want athletes to be honest until they're honest. And then we're like, why did he say that shit, right? No, I loved it. That was pure energy, and he meant that.
Yeah, I just love it when players come out and they just talk their minds to the microphone, and they're just like, this is what we do. This is what we did. That is one of the most impressive games in Tampa Bay organization history. And I think what they did, I think you guys call them the losingest team in all of NFL in the franchise. Yeah, the Succaneers, I think Skip Bayless calls them.
And for years we called them the Tampa Bay Yucks.
And Tom Brady has come, and he's changed life in Tampa Bay, and fair play to Tom Brady. And
this will be a different discussion for a different day, but I really think we need to someday have the discussion on Belichick or Brady.
Yeah, definitely. I've written in my notes that it's New England. It's now gone from New England being like, oh, well, we probably could have kept Brady, to New England making a massive mistake by not keeping Brady.
And I think it's all because Belichick wanted to prove he could do it without Brady.
Yeah, definitely. I think age does come into it. Like Tom Brady is. Tom Brady is old, and I think he maybe was asking for a bit more money. And I think Tom actually wanted to leave as much as they wanted to kind of kick him out as well. I think he was ready to leave, and Tampa has been a great new lease of life for him, and he's playing really well. As much as Drew Brees looked old and he looked like it was his last game, Tom Brady looks like he could keep going for another 3-4 years.
Yeah, and I believe that Brady wanted a new start also, but he only wanted $25 million.
Yeah.
Like for a quarterback, that's nothing. So that's, it just showed that Belichick was ready to move on from him,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Also, Tom Brady is able to throw the ball downfield. Like he has still got an absolute gun of an arm, even though that pass to Scotty Miller was a beautiful little loop in. Great catch by Scotty Miller. Well done for coming back on for your first action since Antonio Brown got there. And I just think the fact that they were able to run as well. So as much as we were talking about the Packers being able to run, Tampa Bay have a run game.
Yes.
Fournette was ramming it down their front.
And Rodgers and Brady both threw deep balls that laid over a shoulder like a handoff. Granted,
Yeah.
MVS dropped one, Lazard. I text you. I couldn't believe Lazard dropped that one.
Fair.
But that's neither here nor there. I mean, they both are still, they do it differently, but they're both still doing it at the top levels.
Yeah, definitely. I think Tom Brady proved to me. I've always been kind of skeptical about Tom Brady. I think I don't know why. I think Deflategate kind of made me hate him. And then, but now this season, I'm kind of looking at him.
I'm an idiot, and I read that whole report, so I know more about the general gas law than I ever thought I would. And there is actually probably decent enough proof that if that was a court of law, they would have never been convicted, because we don't know if they let him out or the actual deflation of the balls, because some of the Colts balls were tested and they were under also, and they were explaining how the change in temperature. But like I said, I ain't a scientist, you know?
Yeah, but I think after that, I was kind of like, oh, fuck Tom Brady, man. Fuck this guy. Like, he's just been. But then I've watched him in Tampa Bay, and I like him a lot more. Maybe I just don't like New England. That might be it.
Well, let's be fair to Tom Brady. He likes the ball a pound under what it was legally supposed to be, and Aaron Rodgers likes the ball a pound over. So either way, and it's against the rules. So I just say there ain't no way that deflated ball made you put up 45 points.
Yeah, that's true, man. That is true. And,
all right, we got a topic.
Yeah, and I think another plaudit for Tom Brady in the game is the fact that they seem to start with the Arians offense. They seem to start like bombing it down. No risk it, no biscuit is what he calls it, isn't it? And it was on that 3rd and 3. They went for a downfield heave, and it was kind of like, what are you doing? And then they went 3 and out again. And then all of a sudden they come out, it's under routes, running the ball, take the downfield when it's there. But that's Tom Brady's offense. And
well, it's funny you said that, because we don't talk about what we're going to say before we get on here. But I was going to bring this up, that if you listen to Arians' interview after the game, I'm going to paraphrase, but what he pretty much said is, yeah, there's points in the game where I'm just like, fuck it, Tom, you coach.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I
mean, it's like what it sounded like to me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I would hate to have Tom Brady as a coach. He sounds like really hard work, but he gets teams to win. The one turning point in that game was the Cook turnover. And I kind of want to know what you think about that. Was it a great play, or was it Cook being an idiot? What do you think about that?
I think Antoine Winfield Jr. saved that game.
Yeah. I think it was kind of,
maybe it was not the brightest by Cook, but I think it was. I don't want to take away from how great of a play that was, and the never give up.
Yeah.
On that play.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a low IQ play by Cook. I think he was looking that way for the danger when he knows that the danger's there. He's just past that guy. So he should be holding the ball in this arm rather than this arm.
No,
he's looking over there for the danger, and he's not seeing it. And I've never understood this about American football, but why, when you feel pressure, do you not like grab it in 2 hands? So in rugby, you carry the ball like this into.
Well, you're supposed to put that other arm over the top where you have the 3 points of pressure on the football, like this, high and tight. Then you're supposed to cover it again. But when you get to the pros, these guys get laxed on that stuff, because in college, you see them cover it up a lot more. Or guys who are prone to fumble at times, you see that they cover it up a lot more now too.
Yeah, I was thinking about with that fumble. I was watching it, and I was thinking my rugby coach would kill me if I ever let that happen.
If he's holding the ball correctly, that probably doesn't come out. But and I agree with you that he didn't protect it, but I don't want to take away from the defense on that play, because I thought that was such a huge pivotal play.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? And I thought it was just like great hustle play too.
Yeah, I think high IQ by Winfield, low IQ by Cook. And it was just kind of like, you watch that and you think, oh, right, that's okay. Bucks have got this now. Bucks have got this game. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that game, though. I thought it would probably be more high scoring at half also.
Yeah, that was my favorite game of the week, though, I think.
But it turned out to be such a defensive battle with 2 high potent offenses that I came away way more impressed with the Bucks defense than when I went in.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Bucks
They were in
defense had that
Breeze's
many
face.
ballers, man. Yeah, hey, they've become hot at the right time, like the Bucks in general. I think we're going to talk about that in a
I
couple of
figured
minutes.
that's probably a good transition. So to the
Yeah,
championship round, let's start with the NFC Championship, just because I want to get to this. The Bucks Packers.
yeah,
I think this is going to be a great game to watch. I think I'm going to make a lot of people mad at me right now, and I think the Bucks win this game. And if
yeah.
you look at even Las Vegas, they have it a 3.5-point favorite for the Packers. But you get
Packers, yeah,
3 points just for being at home. So Vegas believes that on a neutral field, the Packers are only a half a point better
yeah,
than Tampa. And this was something I really wanted to bring up. So everybody's been talking about warm weather teams coming to a cold weather place. What I want people to understand, this isn't the normal warm weather team, because Brady and Gronk, Brady 20 years, but a decade in New England. AB, if he plays, Pittsburgh. Godwin played at Penn State. Antoine Winfield Jr. is a Minnesota kid. Like, I'm not going to keep going. There's other guys, but this is a
there's
team
loads.
that has a ton of guys who played in cold weather. So I think they're going to understand it better than a lot of other teams that may have been coming in.
Yeah, I think I've got written in my notes the exact same thing. I think people are over egging the weather a bit much, and I understood it with LA going, because LA they seem like the ultimate hot weather team, but Tampa Bay's most important players have all played in the north of the United States, and I just think like the weather's not as big. For the record, I'm also going to back you up on this and go for a Tampa win as well. I was watching the game and I was thinking, I watched the Packers and I watched Tampa, and their game was far more impressive for me. I thought the defense was on top the entire time. And as much as I was saying in the last podcast, don't pay too much attention to the Saints blowing out Tampa, I think Tampa blowing out the Packers 38-10 in the regular season. And since then, the Bucks have only got better since then. So, I'm not feeling great for the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a good game though, and he's going to put up some numbers in his chase for to get to the Super Bowl. He's been calling for home advantage for seasons, and he just wants it and wants it and wants it. And I think he'll put up a good game. But the Tampa secondary showed me enough to think they can handle it.
No, I agree. And another reason I went with Tampa Bay is because if you think about how they moved the ball on the Saints and how they scored, I think the Saints defense is way better than Green Bay's.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think Green Bay's offense is better than the Saints. But if you're asking, can they go, 1-for-1 on touchdowns? Yes. And I think it's going to be harder on Rodgers to score than it is on Brady to score. Also, is Rodgers a better quarterback? Now, Brady's the GOAT, the rings. But is Rodgers a better quarterback right now? Absolutely. But Brady is going to score points. Rodgers is going to score points. To stop Rodgers, it's not about sacking him. It's about rushing him.
Yeah.
Hurrying him up, getting him off his spot, even though he can move and throw. But, rushing him to throw the ball is where he's the least accurate. And Tampa was in Drew Brees' face.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things for me was that the Packers couldn't get off to get Brady. They couldn't get off to get Goff. They only got, I think it was 3 sacks, 2.5 sacks or something like that against Goff. And Brady throws the ball faster than Goff. Brady's smarter than Goff. So are they going to have to blitz Brady to get to him? Well, Brady's amazing against the blitz, and he's got an offensive line that seems to be able to pick it up as well. Is the Saints pass rush as good as the Packers? Absolutely not a chance. So I think I just don't think they're going to get to Brady enough to stop him scoring that ball. And the fact that they've now got a run is going to not only help them with the weather, but it's going to help them stop the Packers getting to them and give Brady even more time to throw the ball.
And to get Brady is kind of the same as Rodgers. It's not about the sacks. It's that push up the middle. Can you get him pressured and feeling uncomfortable?
Yeah.
I don't know with the way that offensive line in Tampa's been playing if the Packers are going to be able to get that push. And you can't blitz Rodgers and Brady all the time because they will pick you apart.
They will carve you up. Yeah.
I mean, you can throw blitzes in, here and there, but you can't come in and blitz a lot. But that's interesting because Todd Bowles blitzes more than any other coordinator in football. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, Tampa have the ability to actually rush with 4. So they've got Shaq Barrett is good enough to be there to take up 2 blockers, and then you can rush with the rest. And I think that I don't know. I was just looking at it, and I just think their team's just better put together than the Packers. And I don't want to disrespect the Packers too much. They've played the best football in the NFC this season.
I don't think either of us be shocked if the Packers won. We're just picking.
Oh no, definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. I just think Tampa are going to win it by 3, by no more than a touchdown. I don't think, and I don't know. I just think Tampa's team is just better put together.
Yeah, Rodgers is the best quarterback on the field. I'm sure we agree when it comes to that.
Yeah,
but that receiving core for Tampa and that rookie Johnson made a catch. I think his name was Johnson. I don't remember, but he made a catch spinning around.
Yeah.
If this dude had 12 or 13 catches all season, if he's going to start catching the ball now too, people are really in trouble,
Yeah, I think playing with Tom Brady has that team in a mentality where it's like, do not drop the ball, and they won't drop the ball. And Antonio Brown picked up a little bit of an injury in the game, but I think he's cleared to go for the Packers game. So
yeah, I'm sure he'll play. These guys are not going to miss an NFC Championship game unless they can't walk.
He'll play.
I mean, look back in the day, T.O. played with plates in his leg, and signed a waiver.
Yeah, I just think the Tampa Bay team is just better put together than the Packers team. Packers have played the best football in the NFC this season, and they're fully deserving of their top seed. But Tampa are playing the best football at the right time. They took half the season. They took half the season to get used to how Tom wants to play, to get everything together, and then they took off from there.
Right, with no preseason, with Tom being new. It was week probably 7, 8 before they really started to feel each other. And then they used the second half of the season to really hone it. Plus, a lot of the Super Bowl, and the Giants have proved this twice, is it's just being hot once the playoffs start. If you're playing your best football when the tournament begins, you can win this whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think Tampa have done that all at the right time. And that win against the Saints might be one of Tom Brady's most impressive games of his career, just because it's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think maybe he'll be able to, he's got that team in a good headspace, and that'll carry on into the NFC Championship game.
You don't think you got to know he wants this. He wants to rub it into Belichick's face more than anything. A guy who's got a chip on his shoulder from 20 years ago about when he was drafted, right? Yeah. This guy wants this so bad, and that Gronk knows he wants it. AB loves that dude because he doesn't have a career, or he lives with him now too, without him, right? So, these guys are going to get up and be like, we're going to do this for Tom, let alone yourself, and that's huge when anybody who's played sports, if you're playing for somebody else, you just give it a little extra more than you thought you had.
Yeah, and I think Rodgers has that same chip on his shoulder. He believes he should have more Super Bowls than the one Super Bowl he has. He believes he should be in the discussion for one of the best quarterbacks. But I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see the Packers as a whole getting up enough. I think Rodgers is going to be amazing. I think the Packers are going to let him down. I think that's what I'm
not going to take anything away from the Packers team, and I agree with what you're saying. Rodgers wants it. Rodgers got a chip on his shoulder for not being the first overall pick. He's made comments to McCarthy. Yeah, I've watched other teammates like A.J. Hawk say they'd be in a team meeting, and he'd say something to Rodgers, and he goes, I wonder if Alex Smith could have made that throw. And so there's still stuff that bothers. So he's got a chip. And I'm not trying to shit on the Packers team by saying this. I don't know if the Packers players are looking at it like we got to win this for Aaron as much as we got to win this for us, where I think Tampa sees Tom's out in another year or so. We need to win this for Tom.
Yeah, we need a win for Brady, just to show that, because they've seen it. They've seen how amazing a coach he is and all of that. It's not just Belichick, it's Tom Brady. And we need to show that. So Tampa Bay to win.
Plus, Tom comes in at the beginning of the year, so there's more of a rallying cry behind him. And they're excited because they got rid of the turnover machine in Jameis Winston, but they upgraded in quarterback. They didn't go to a rookie or a Ryan Fitzpatrick or something like that. They got the GOAT. Yeah, they got a guy with 6 rings. So
I think Tampa Bay to win. I'm definitely confident in that. I wasn't confident in coming into this, but I think I am confident in that now.
I'm not confident just because I've watched Aaron Rodgers my whole life. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if they win, I wouldn't be shocked. But I'm with you. I'm going with Tampa.
Yeah, I think also in my heart of hearts, as a Cowboys fan, can I go for Aaron Rodgers after he keeps on taking us apart every time we go to the playoffs, ruin Tony Romo's career,
And I love Tony Romo only because he's a Wisconsin kid, and I'm always like that. If you're from my state, I love to see you do great things.
Yeah, and it's all Aaron Rodgers' fault that guy didn't make it to an NFC Championship game.
Well, was that a catch? Des Bryant says yes.
I can't even talk about that.
I'm not arguing that one because I see both sides of it, and I don't have a horse in either race, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to let you all argue that out. All right, AFC Championship game. I actually left this for last because I think I know, but I'm very curious on what you think's going to happen. So
I've changed my mind 20 times on this. And
that's me.
I've just changed it again. I've got written in my book, I've put the Chiefs will win with Mahomes, but the Bills will win if Mahomes isn't there. I think the Bills will walk it if Mahomes isn't on the pitch. But I'm also going to say the Bills win this game even when Mahomes on the field.
Okay.
Bills win this game. Yeah, Bills win this game.
I should have known because we can't agree on everything. I think Mahomes plays. I think that it's probably not going to be an issue. I mean, maybe when he's retired, but I mean, for the game, I don't think this head injury is going to be an issue. I think both teams have great high-powered offenses. I think both defenses are okay and suspect in places.
Yeah.
And I'm just putting my belief in that I think Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Josh Allen, not to take anything away from Josh Allen.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
Oh,
I mean, when
and Andy Reid is a better coach.
And Andy Reid is a better coach. And Vrabel's a pretty good offensive coordinator, and I can't remember the name of their head coach.
I'm not trying to take away from Sean McDermott or any of those guys. I'm not trying to take away from that. He's great. He's in the coach of the year conversation, even though I think Stefanski wins it. But Andy Reid is an offensive genius since he was with the Packers to the Eagles to, it's just what he does.
So I think this is actually a pretty bad matchup for the Chiefs. I think Mahomes will be, like, you could see he was affected by his toe, and a broken toe is a pain in the ass, man. Like, I've had a broken toe, and you just can't shake it, and no matter how many pain meds you take, you can still feel it. Like, it's just stopping you plant and it's stopping you run. And I think that'll play a small part. He's still amazing enough for it not to be an issue. And for me, Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, they look like they're playing Madden sometimes, like when they're actually playing the game. But for me, the Chiefs offense couldn't stop the Browns, and they couldn't stop Baker Mayfield. And I'm also a Baker Mayfield fan. I quite like him. I think he's more of a hustler than an actual amazing quarterback, but that's part of the quarterback position. But Josh Allen is way better than Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield looked good against the Chiefs. So I think that they've got a chance. And those bombs downfield that we were talking about earlier, that they were taking in Buffalo, those bombs downfield are a lot easier to throw in Kansas City than they are in Buffalo.
Okay, and I don't disagree with you that Allen is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield, at least in their careers right now.
Yeah.
My only question is, or more of a statement, I think, one, the Chiefs have better weapons. Granted, Diggs is awesome,
Yeah,
Beasley,
definitely.
but I think they have better
Definitely.
weapons. And I'm a firm believer that Tyrann Mathieu may be the best safety in the NFL.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about this before actually, but that the way he baited Baker into that
Oh,
interception, the way he
fake.
looked away and then came back
Yeah.
on it.
Yes, he faked and
That
came
is one of
back.
the
I was
most
like, oh, that was sick when they showed the replay.
yeah, I've in preparation for this, I've just gone through like replays of like the biggest plays of the game and stuff. And that Tyrann Mathieu fakes it and then just comes on it. He's awesome. The Honey Badger is an awesome player. And they'll have him covering over the top on Diggs the entire time. But I just think, I don't know, it's just not a good matchup. I like the Bills managed to show that they can shift their defense into a different level when they were playing the Ravens. So yeah, go for it, man.
I have zero faith in Leslie Frazier, but that is a lot to do with watching him with the Vikings. Okay, he's been great
Yeah.
as their D court. But what I wanted to ask you quick was, do you not believe that this is a bad matchup for both teams?
Oh, I think yeah. If these guys are going to keep on meeting up in the AFC Championship game, which with the quarterbacks they have, you could see that happening over and over again, be one of those great rivalries in the AFC Championship game. They're going to have to build the team to play against the other team a bit better. I think it's a terrible matchup for both. I just think the Chiefs have a real issue defending the run, and I know the Bills have a real issue running the ball. But even if they're able to get a bit more of the run, take a bit more off Allen's shoulders, then Allen can then start turning it loose. And I just think they've got it. I think it's going to be a really close game. I'm really not confident in this pick. I think this might be where my 100% record ends. But I think I'm more supporting the Bills to win it rather than thinking they're really, really going to do it. But I do think they have as good a chance as they ever will have to beat the Chiefs at the minute.
Well, if history is an indicator of the future, you're fine, and I'm going to lose. But I think it's a bad matchup for both teams. I didn't disagree with you, right? But again, mine just goes back to I have more faith. Not that I don't have faith in Josh Allen. So I guess that's a bad choice of words. But if you gave me a choice, one game, Mahomes or Allen, I'm taking Mahomes. And so that's where I'm going.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I've got written in all of my notes. I've got written, I think Mahomes will take over this game. I think the weapons are better for the Chiefs. But I've just decided, as we were talking through the last game, I was just kind of like, nah, the Bills are going to win it. The Bills are going to win it. I've got a feeling.
Yeah, I'm not confident on either game, to be honest with you. I can see.
Yeah, me neither.
I was sitting back last night thinking to myself and thinking back through recent playoffs. This is the first time in a long time I can think of where I'm looking at it and going, any one of these four teams can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. These teams can all beat each other in the Super Bowl.
There's usually one team in the NFC or AFC Championship game where you're like, how'd they even get there? You know what I mean? And this year it's not. I think it's some really good football. And I think I just realized that we both split a home and away team.
Yeah. We both split the home and away team. Yeah. I think it's going to be close, man. I'm excited for this week. I'm really excited for this week. And I'm looking forward to that Bills game. I'm expecting a shootout, but a close shootout. Maybe 3 points either way.
Yeah. I'm taking the Chiefs no matter what because a pick is a pick. But caveat, if Mahomes don't play, I'm definitely losing this pick.
Yeah, fair enough. We won't hold you to it next week if
I'll
the
take
Chiefs
the L.
don't have
I'm
Mahomes.
just saying I got no shot with Chad Henne.
What was that turnover? Somebody called it a thrown punt, I think. He just did a fair catch into the end zone and it was what was that? He won the game, but what was that? You can't do that for the rest of if he has to play against the Bills. But after hearing the news today of it being a nerve rather than a concussion, supposedly, Mahomes will be playing, but I think he'll be restricted, and I think Josh Allen might have this. Josh Allen's got it. Josh Allen's got it.
I don't even know how old Chad Henne is, but I do know he was the second pick that Bill Parcells made as the front office guy for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think it's his 13th season in the NFL is what I heard.
Was the tackle's name Locker? I don't remember, but he was Michigan's tackle. He took first overall, and then with the second round pick, he took the Michigan quarterback. That's all I remember.
Yeah, he won't win the game. Andy Reid's an offensive genius, but you need Patrick Mahomes to make that offensive genius work. And if they have him, I'm going to be really scared for my pick. But I'm definitely picking the Bills. We've got it.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I'm with you that if Mahomes don't play, there's no way they win. But if he does play, which I'm hoping, I think we got 2 great championship games ahead of us, and it's going to be an exciting Sunday of football.
Yeah, an exciting game, man. Exciting game.
Well, Maddie, I guess now it's just wait to see if you can go 2-0 this week.
Here we go.
And stay the Nostradamus of football.
If I go 2-0 this week, I'm going to send this into NBC to say get me a slot for the Super Bowl coverage, or Sky Sports in the UK to say get me a spot for the Super Bowl coverage.
Well, if you've seen, we had one really nice comment on our last video.
Yeah.
There was a guy, I forget his name, but he said, Chris. So shout out to Chris, said that you two are great. You should have a daily show. So either Chris is an idiot. Sorry, Chris. Or we're getting better as we go. But we'll see.
Hey, no, big shout out to Chris, man. Yeah. Next season, we should do it every week. I think that should be good fun.
Yeah, and actually, I've been planning some promotions for next season. I'll actually shout it out here quick just so everybody knows. In July, I'm going to start a promotion where if you like and share plus comment your favorite team underneath the post, I'm going to randomly pick 12 people to be in the NFC North Fantasy Football League. It's free. There will be a trophy that if you win, your name will get engraved on it and stay forever. And you, the winner, will get a championship ring.
Yeah, and for those people who are there as well, we'll give you one of the Travel Story Society hoodies and send one over to Jay as well. So if you like and subscribe to this, then we'll and hey, come like and subscribe to our page too. We'll throw in a Travel Story Society hoodie for the winner of next season.
And everybody loves hoodies. I live in hoodies.
Yeah, who doesn't love a hoodie, man?
But yeah, it was just something I came up with like a week ago that everybody loves fantasy football. So like and share, and then we'll put 12 people in. Your name will live in immortality on the trophy, and you will get a 2021 gold-plated, because I'm not rich, championship ring.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. That sounds good. I'll play in it. I'll be in the league.
Yeah, so that's something coming up. But yeah, I'm really excited. We're going to have a lot to talk about, I'm sure, next week, because these two are shaping up to be some of the best games of the playoffs. Yeah, as I say that, it means they're going to be blowouts and suck. But no, really, like I said, all 4 teams could make the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a really interesting weekend, and I'm excited. Yeah, me too. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to the Skull Curse for putting down the Saints once again. Yes, they did. I'm telling you. We told you, you said it. If Brady was watching, not to worry. Yeah, that's what. Hey, you do realize the guy who saved the game's father was a longtime Viking. Yeah, man. It's the Skull Curse. It's coming back. Hey, the Skull Curse. That's the thing. They've got to sack Sean Payton if they ever want to make it to a Super Bowl. He's got to go. Again. He's got to go if they want to break the curse. Dallas will take him. Dallas will have him. Oh, in a heartbeat. Yeah. Awesome, man. Great. He could go with Mike Zimmer, who is good friends with, and be his offensive coordinator. Okay, that's self-serving. Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you again for joining, Maddie. We really enjoyed. I enjoy these debates with you over football. It's a lot of fun, and I'll see you again next week before the Super Bowl. Yeah, see you before the Super Bowl, man. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Again, go and check out Travel Story Societies. It's at travelstorysocieties.com. And if you got stories, get a hold of Maddie. You can put them on there. People can enjoy your travels as well as you can enjoy theirs. Maybe you learn something about someplace you wanted to go. So it's all good and it'll be enjoyable to check it out. All right, everybody. One world, one love. Deuces.
Ciao.
This guy's a fucking idiot.